This video is sponsored by Surfshark VPN. Hey guys, and welcome to All About Linux. Today I'll be installing full Linux on an Android phone. For this video, I have picked the Sony Xperia Z1 from late 2013. It has a quad-core Snapdragon 800 chip, 2GB of RAM, and a 5.0-inch 1080p TFT display, which is perfect for installing Postmarket OS, the distro of choice for this phone. Postmarket OS is a distro based on Alpine Linux, which aims for a 10-year life cycle for smartphones. Postmarket OS is certainly an interesting idea that I completely support, as I believe that we should keep our devices useful and safe until they physically break. However, I must first warn you that Postmarket OS is still in an early beta stage, and a lot of things may not work, especially the phone stuff such as making or receiving calls. I also must warn you that following these steps to install Postmarket OS will cause you to void your device's warranty, lose all data on the device, and in some cases, there is a risk of making your device unusable or unbootable. That said, here's how I installed Postmarket OS on the Sony Xperia Z1. All links to things that I use will be made available in the description. Before you start, you will have to have an unlocked bootloader. You also will have to have a Linux distro, preferably Debian or Arch based on your computer, and you can watch my previous video on how I set up Ubuntu 20.10 on my laptop in the cards above to find out how to install and configure a Linux distro on your computer. Unlocking your bootloader allows you to install custom OS to your device. For the Xperia Z1, I could unlock the bootloader by entering my IMEI on the Sony Open Developers website and following the instructions there. Side note, you will have to install Fastboot on your computer to unlock your bootloader. On Debian-based distros like Ubuntu, you can run sudo apt get install Android tools Fastboot. After you have finished unlocking your bootloader, step 1 is to install Python 3 on your computer, which I will link to a guide in the description. For Ubuntu 20.10, Python 3 is pre-installed. Next, you have to enter pip3 install -- user pm bootstrap to install the Postmarket installer on your computer. Following that, type pm bootstrap init and press enter to set up the installer. Press enter again to select the default work path. Next, the installer will ask for a device manufacturer and a device codename. A quick Google search will help you find the codename. For my Z1, the manufacturer is Sony and the codename is Honami. Press enter after each input. Next, you have to select your desktop environment. As my Xperia Z1 did not have working 3D acceleration for Postmarket OS, I had to select XFCE4 as it did not require 3D acceleration, and I will advise you to do so too. Type the name of the desktop environment you would like to use and press enter. There will be a few more questions, and unless you would like to change something, it's fine to answer with the defaults there by just pressing the enter key. After those questions, you will have to type the command pm bootstrap install -- android -- recovery - zip to finish setting up the Postmarket OS flashable zip file. It will take around 5 minutes to download and set up the packages, so just wait patiently. I actually tried a few other methods before deciding on this, as this method is the easiest and has the lowest risk of breaking the phone. When the pm bootstrap install command finishes, you will have to install a custom recovery on your phone if you haven't. Go to the TWRP devices page and look for your device. Download the recovery image file and save it to any folder. Then power down your device and boot it into fast boot mode. For Sony devices, It is usually connecting the USB cable from the phone to the computer while pressing the volume up button. The rate charging LED indicator should change to blue on Sony devices when in fast boot mode. Open a terminal in the folder where the TWRP image is stored and type fast boot flash recovery followed by a space and the file name of your TWRP image and press the enter key. For example, fastboot flash recovery.img. You can rename the TWRP image to shorter names like twrp.img or recovery.img for your convenience. After the command completes with no errors, type fastboot reboot and press enter. The device should reboot. Before the logo shows up, hold down the volume down and power key for Sony phones to boot into TWRP recovery. In TWRP, check the Never Show This Screen During Boot Again message and swipe to allow modifications. Then click Mount and uncheck all the partitions. Go back to the home page and click Advanced, then ADB Sideload, then swipe to start sideload. Keep your phone connected to the computer during this process. In your computer's terminal, type pm bootstrap flasher -- method equals ADB sideload and wait while Postmarket OS is being installed on your device. When the process completes, navigate to the home screen in TWRP again and press Reboot, then System. And if everything went well, the Postmarket OS loading screen should show up and soon you'll be greeted with the SFCE4 desktop. But we are not done yet. The icons and buttons are probably very tiny and impossible to use with a touchscreen. For this part, I will recommend connecting a keyboard and mouse to your device with a micro USB or USB-C to USB adapter. Go to the settings menu, click display and change the scaling to 2 times. After a short while, the display will resize and icons will be bigger. Next, go to appearance and increase the DPI to your liking. Increasing the DPI will cause things like buttons to appear bigger. After that, it is time to connect to Wi-Fi. For me, tapping on my Wi-Fi network did not allow me to connect to it. I had to click connect to hidden network, then type my SSID and password to connect to my Wi-Fi. With the Wi-Fi up and running, it is time to install a touchscreen keyboard. Currently, Postmarket OS has 19 core apps. One of these apps is the Core Keyboard, which is basically an on-screen keyboard optimized for touchscreens. You can install it by typing sudo apk add core keyboard in a terminal. Then you will be able to open an on-screen keyboard by opening the Core Keyboard app. There are also core apps and I would highly recommend you trying them out too. I also installed the Midori browser to do some basic web browsing, but YouTube will not play videos due to 3D acceleration issues. But with today's sponsor, Surfshark VPN, I am able to improve my web browsing experience by browsing more securely online. Surfshark VPN protects your privacy and security online, unblocks geo-restricted content like certain Netflix libraries with features like its ultra-fast 3,200 plus servers in 65 countries, industry-leading encryption, ad blocker, and many others. It works on an unlimited number of devices, from Android and iOS to Windows, Mac OS, and Linux, to Chrome and Firefox extensions. Best of all, you can get Surfshark VPN today for the first 3 months free, then 81% off for just $2.49 per month. Do head over to surfshark.deal/allaboutlinux and get Surfshark today. Thanks to Surfshark for sponsoring this video. And back to the video. So, in conclusion, although SFCE on the phone is now somewhat usable, it definitely has a long way to go. It feels like trying to use a desktop OS with a touchscreen, and these two don't mix, at least for now. However, there are desktops like KDE, Plasma Mobile, and Phosh, and distros like Ubuntu Touch, which I will be reviewing at a later date. So here comes the question, should you install Postmarket OS on your phone? Most likely not. I think there might be so many issues like battery percentage, hardware acceleration, adjusting brightness, etc. that might hinder your phone experience. I wouldn't use that as a daily driver. However, your mileage may vary. Different devices have different levels of support, and some devices might provide a better experience. Postmarket OS is still an interesting OS to check out, and I would definitely recommend checking it out, but I wouldn't recommend using it as a daily driver. Okay, that's it for this video. I hope this quick tutorial has helped you. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.